Social Security Disability, otherwise known as SSDI, the incredibly important earnings limits you need to understand so that your benefits are not at risk of garnishment or reduction. I have all the details and everything you need to know right here in this video. Let's get right into it. All right, so this is an incredibly important topic that we need to understand very, very clearly, especially for those of you who are currently receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance benefits, or if you're expected to start receiving SSDI benefits here in the relatively near future. All right, so we will be talking through all of these detailed numbers that you need to understand very, very clearly as a SSDI beneficiary, and we'll be getting into that here in just a second. However, I want to lay this out there really clearly as well. I do know that there are a lot of you here in this community receiving Social Security retirement, survivors, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB, as well as other low-income benefits. As a result of that, I want to make it very clear here. This is specifically for SSDI, Social Security Disability Benefits. Because here's the thing. The earnings limits for Social Security retirement is different than what it is for SSDI. And that is also different than what it is for SSI. It's different depending on the type of benefits that you are receiving. So I can always come back and make dedicated videos on all of these different benefit types, the earnings limits for everybody. But in this one, I do specifically want to focus on SSDI, right? So I want to make that very clear because it is different for all of these different groups. In fact, even retirement benefits, for example, the earnings limits that you can have as a retiree before your full retirement age, the FRA, is different than what it is after your FRA. So, I mean, seriously, there's so many different moving parts. There's a lot of different aspects of this. So anyway, just want to make that very clear so that we're all on the same page here with this video. Anyway, let's get into it and discuss all these numbers, as this is something very, very, very important that we need to know. All right, really quickly before we do, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video. Information continues to change very, very rapidly right now. I'm watching everything closely. I'm breaking it all down into these short videos so that you can stay updated every single day with everything going on as these announcements are being made and as this information is hitting the wire. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button right down below the video if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you right by your side, helping you out in any way that I possibly can. All right, thanks again. Let's jump right into this. All right, so SSDI beneficiaries, I hope that you are all ears right now because this is very, very important. Now, these numbers that are laid out here that we're going to talk about in this video are identified by the Social Security Administration. These numbers also do adjust a little bit each and every year. And when I say a little bit, I really do mean a little bit. It's not much, a few dollars each and every year, but they do typically adjust higher, which is a pretty good thing. However, if you are a Social Security disability beneficiary, you can actually work and have some income. Yes, you can. However, they have actually established some earnings limits that you must stay under in order to continue receiving your full benefit. If you breach that number, as in if you earn more income than what they allow, then they consider that SGA, substantial gainful activity. Therefore, they might say, you might not need benefits anymore. So they might actually garnish your benefits. They may reduce your benefits, and or depending on what your income is and for how long you continue receiving over that amount, they may just completely stop your benefits. So that's why this is so incredibly important. We got to know this stuff. So here's the thing. I do understand that there are some people out there that have this misconception saying, if you're receiving SSDI, you can't work or have any income. No, that's actually not true. You can have some income. You can have some income, but it depends on your situation. Because here's the thing. As SSDI beneficiaries, they break it down into two different categories, blind and non-blind. So here's the thing. If you're an SSDI beneficiary, you probably know if you fall into the category of blind or if you're not blind. So that's you're going to understand that. Again, I don't know everybody's situation. Everybody's situation is very different. But if you are somebody receiving SSDI as a blind individual, you're going to know that. And if you're receiving SSDI for something else, maybe a different disability, again, you're going to know that if it's not blindness, right? Okay, just want to make that clear because it is very, very different here. And we got to understand all these numbers because the two numbers that I'm about to share with you are very, very different based on blind and non-blind, okay? All right, so Let's run through these numbers, and then I want to give you some best practices as far as going forward if you are currently working or if you expect to start working and earning an income, and how it's going to relate to your SSDI monthly benefits. All right, so let's run through these numbers here. As a non-blind individual receiving SSDI, you can earn up to $1,350 each and every month here in 2022 without worry about your SSDI benefits being garnished, reduced, or even stopped. However, if you earn over that limit, then you got to be aware of that, okay? You got to be aware of that, because once you earn over the $1,350 every single month as a non-blind individual, that's when we could potentially get into some problems, right? So write that number down. If you are a non-blind individual, keep an eye on that number, $1,350. By the way, this does not include your monthly benefit. So let me give you a quick example. Let's just say that you get a monthly benefit of, say, $1,000. Again, just making up an example right here, just for easy math purposes. You can have income from earned income, as in you could report to a job, you could be self-employed, you could do whatever it is that you earn income from. Doesn't matter, income is income. You could be self-employed, you could work for somebody, you could do whatever, it does not matter. Income is just income. So you can earn $1,350 above and beyond your regular benefit, whatever that happens to be. In this example, your $1,000 benefit would not account for the $1,350 of income in this example. Make sense? So hope that makes it very clear. All right, so let's run through that. I just have that information for you right there. Now let's talk about blind individuals, and then I quickly want to run through some best practices going forward in the event you are working, or you continue, or you start working, or if your income starts to go over the limits that I just shared with you. All right, so let's talk about blind individuals. Again, if you're receiving SSDI and you're a blind individual, you probably know who you are, right? Okay, just want to make that very clear so we all understand who these numbers pertain to. All right, as a blind individual, you can earn up to $2,260 every single month as a blind SSDI beneficiary in 2022. And again, these numbers adjust a little bit each and every year. In fact, last year in 2021, it was $2,190. So it adjusted higher by what, $70 a month? So again, it does adjust a little bit, but that is what you can earn up to as a blind SSDI beneficiary in 2022. $2,260 every single month. If you earn more than that, they're going to consider it SGA, substantial gainful activity. Therefore, they're going to start to really question your situation and say, maybe you don't need benefits because you're earning what we're considering as SGA. You got to be aware of this stuff. Very, very important. All right, so that is for blind individuals. And again, this number does not account for your monthly benefit. Again, if you're receiving a $1,000 monthly SSDI benefit, you can earn, in addition to that, $2,260 from earned income, right? Again, whether it's from a job, self-employment, whatever it happens to be, income is just income. Doesn't really matter, right? All right, now that we have these numbers out of the way, let me throw this down there really fast here. I don't know your situation. I can't advise you on what to do. I would highly, highly recommend you do your own research on this and possibly even call the 1-800 number and connect with a Social Security agent and have a conversation about this before you start working, or if you're in the situation where you are currently working and if you've not told Social Security yet, I would highly advise you call Social Security and let them know right away. They're not going to punish you. They're not going to say, you're in trouble now. They're not going to do that. It is totally okay to work as a Social Security disability beneficiary. There's no problem in that at all. You can work and you can have an income. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be upset with you, but the best thing to do is call them and let them know that you are working, or if you plan to start working, call them and let them know right away. Here's the problem. If you don't call them and you try to hide it from them, then you're going to have some problems ahead of you, okay? I just want to throw that out there and let you know that right away. Please be honest, please be transparent, because if you try to hide it, they will find out and it's not going to be a pretty situation, okay? So just be honest with you. They don't care. They want you to work. They'd be very happy for you. They'd be very encouraging. They'd be happy for you. They'd be glad that you're out there, you're working too. I mean, that you have income. It does not matter one bit. They are totally fine with it. But the deal is they have those thresholds put in place, $1,350 as a non-blind and $2,260 on a monthly basis as a blind individual. These are the numbers you need to keep in mind. Anything above these limits are what they consider SGA, substantial gainful activity. So again, as I mentioned, If you are currently working, if you have not started working, but you're planning on working soon, or you're starting to have some kind of income from whatever it happens to be, again, the best thing I would say to do, call Social Security, have a conversation with an agent. They're going to ask you some really basic questions, right? They're going to ask you, who's your employer? What's your hourly wage, or what's your salary? How many hours per week are you working? They're going to ask you some variety of questions. They're going to ask you, when did you start working? When are you planning to start working? They're going to ask you all kinds of questions to better understand it. They're going to record all this information. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Does not matter one bit, okay? It is totally okay that they have this information on file for you. But like I said, if you try to hide it, they're going to find out. The IRS reports this stuff, and or your work reports this stuff to the IRS, and the IRS and Social Security, they work together. They will find out, okay? Please do not try to hide this stuff. It is going to be way worse of a situation if you try to hide it than just being honest up front and transparent with what is actually going on. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to lay out there for you. Best practices would be call Social Security, tell them your intentions, tell them what you're doing, tell them what's going on, tell them all about what you're working and how much you're earning, things like that, or whatever questions that they happen to ask you, and then just go from there, right? And there's nothing wrong with working. There's nothing wrong with having some income. But again, I just want to make it very clear. I'm not here to go out and tell anybody you should go out and get a job. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I completely understand. If you're receiving SSDI, you have a disability of some kind, and that's okay. Not everybody is allowed to work. Not everybody can work. That's totally fine. Working is completely optional. If you're somebody receiving SSDI, there is no work requirement. You do not need to go out and work. They're not saying you must work in order to get your benefit. No, they're not saying that at all. Work is optional as an SSDI beneficiary. You can if you want, but you can earn up to the limits that I laid out in this video. If not, totally fine. Doesn't matter one bit. Does not matter, okay? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not here trying to say you should go out and work. No, I couldn't care less. If you want to work, by all means, go at it, right? Earn as much as you possibly can up to those limits, but be careful when you get close to the limits. And again, if you don't want to work or you can't work because of a disability, totally fine. I get it, right? So this is just totally optional, but I want to lay this out for you so that everybody's on the same page and so we understand what is going on with this and the earnings limits behind what Social Security allows each and every year for a blind and non-blind individual. One more side note, just promise this will be it. These numbers that I laid out here in this video are gross income, is gross income. So before taxes, if you ever look at your pay stub and it says, you earned $1,000 this month, and then you look at the real number down below and they take out 17 different lines of taxes and you end up taking home $624, it's the top number, right? $1,000 gross. They take gross income, not net income. There's a big, big difference. Gross is what the total income before taxes, net is after taxes, right? It's gross income that they calculate this off of. Just to keep that in mind, right? So anyway, hope that helps you out. Please make sure to subscribe down below. If you haven't done so yet, share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos I have right here on the channel. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later.